Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin the guy. Obviously, I have a garage shop. Taking Scary how to use bikes one bike at a time.
If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.
So I got it in my Parks TS2 touring stand, which is old. Basically, it came from the 90s, late 90s. Modifications was to be able to accommodate 29er wheels. You can still use road wheels with the standard one, but for 29ers, I had to use that. There's old magnet. And also, same thing with the wider ones here. So I replaced these with the bigger ones with the little nylon stoppers, and also a disc brake attachment, which is a nice little base too, which I kind of like. So I took that touring stand that I had, which you can probably find them in the used market for a couple $100, something like that. But I put out another 100 to actually 200-ish into this just to get it to be modernized. Could I just bought a new one? No, they're still really expensive. But anyway, so when I start cleaning this off, I start off at the valve core, so I have a good start and ending point. And this one is a paired spoke, so you got to go through the distance here. You'll notice there's like a little bump here. This is where the rim is put together and looped together and pinned and welded and ground. So don't be too startled with that. Some are more hidden than others. And then this. And there. And once I got both sides on the rim, then I start again. My spoke blades. You know, this, I clean them, but this also gives me the opportunity to feel that spoke blade, see if it's been bent or dinged. Also polishes them up a little bit. Makes them a little bit cleaner. It's all about presentation, right? Anyway. And I'm using Armor All. I put it in bulk and put it in a bottle since I use so much of it. This puts a nice little sheen. I mean, people use it for tires and so forth, which you can use it for the tires too. But there's also another product. Let's go for me. Get you back in there. Okay. So at this point, gonna nerd out. So I can, see really close. Old age. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and look at each one of these eyelets. Make sure they're not compromised. These look pretty good so far. It only takes one bad one. So we'll see. It was the last one I look at. Okay, those are good. Then you don't want to forget to inspect the hub. On these, they didn't really have any problems back in the day. On the rear, they did. So mostly on the race lights. These are the race, which are pretty decent. And I use a fiber cloth too. When you use a Armor All and you put the fiber on there, it really polishes things up. So it just gives me an opportunity to really get this rim, the pop. And you can do it on the spokes as well. Just makes everything clean. It's all about professionalism and detailing. So when somebody buys a bike from me, I do this to every one of them. So this is what I do. Okay, so since that's good, now I need to inspect and true. Red spoke nipple or spoke wrench usually to tighten the nipples are pretty good. You can have a multi one which has different sides, which I like to have anyway, just in case. And these guys, you got to go light and polite because there's a gap between them, so you got to watch out for that when you trim up. These are in pretty good shape, so not too bad. So a full truing would be, you take the tire off and all that, and check for the hop and the dish and all that. And since these are pretty straight, not gonna need to worry about that too much. So the front one is done. Onto the rear, where there was more of a mystery and more of a question. And I do have a pile of these wheels in my backyard. I make some yard work out of them, or some art or whatever. So again, start with rinse, recycle, repeat with Armor All. Get both sides, clean it up, clean the rims or rim surface. Inspect that as well, because that's where your braking contact is. So you want to make sure that's all intact. And also you want to make sure it's flat, not concaved inwards. If it is a lot, that means it's really losing a lot of material there and it might crack, which I've seen before. So here I'm gonna do the cleaning between the spokes and the rim. So between the washing in the tank and the wiping here, and also the polishing rag, I've reviewed the rim at least 3 times, if not more. Start at the valve core again. Do the non-drive side, drive side where the gears are. Non-drive side is the opposite. This will be a shorter spoke. Longer spokes on the drive as the hub is shifted over, or the flanges are. So you have different lengths on the front wheel. The spokes are even on both sides, same length, because they're centered. That way you can flip-flop it. Obviously you can't flip-flop a rear wheel. Just doesn't work that way. And you have some stubborn dirty bits. I do have a brush to get into there, but since I've been using the tank, I haven't had to use that very much often. Also, these have holes through this side here. You can take a screwdriver, the Phillips, and kind of floss it if you really need to get in there. These look pretty clean. So now, back to my crazy scientist. And what's really nice, I got some natural sun, which I like truing the wheels when I got the sunlight coming in. That way I can really inspect these. Sometimes I'll take the truing stand outside if need be to inspect. And again, what I'm looking for is cracks around the rim where the spoke nipple drives through. Sometimes the dirt psychs me out. Think it is, but it isn't. But after further inspection, so far we are good. So when I true these, this is the philosophy of truing, is it's actually good. Yay! Now for the spokes and the hub. Beginners really just learn how to true by tightening. Once you become a master wheel builder and all that, you understand that you need to loosen spokes too. So I usually do the loosening of the spokes to start off with, because most of the times the wheels that I end up getting are over tensioned. And for me, since I've been doing so long, I can just tell by how it feels. But there is a tool out there called the tensiometer, which is this guy here. How that works is you put this in here, and that gauges the tension, and by the measurement on the gauge here. So when you're wheel building, you can check them, and that's how you get it to feel or how the tension's correct. So I think I lucked out on this wheel set. It doesn't look like I'm going to have to replace it, which is good. These are nice wheels. Like I said, there was just a batch of them, not all of them, a batch of them that were problematic, or people, when they constantly true them, they just constantly tighten, or also wear, that kind of thing. These are tricky because there's a big gap, so you're kind of just working with averages at this point. Can't. But the rims are beefed up so much, so they really hold up pretty well. So there we go. Oh yeah. And the flanges on these were not cleared out or removed too much material to cause a problem. I've seen them break inside here. So looks like the wheels are true and ready to go. Now I just need to put it all back together and put it back on the wheels or on the bike.